How was training today? These all feeling good shape?
Yeah, everyone was very sharp. We had a very slightly lighter day than normal. I suppose that's part of playing three test matches. It's kind of coming towards the last one now, obviously this weekend. So it was good and sharp, and not too much time on feet, and everyone's in pretty good shape, I think.
And how would you assess the three games previously? How Ireland performed?
Yeah, it's been a bit mixed, I suppose. Part of it is obviously some rule changes, which kind of lead to the game probably being a bit more open, a bit more scrappy as well. Probably, I think, particularly around the breakdown, you're probably seeing more disruption there, which obviously disrupts everyone's attack and play. But I think there's been in the three games, there's been some really really good stuff. I think overall it's been very good, and then obviously a few periods of not doing so well and probably a bit scrappy at times. But I think overall it's been pretty good. We'd obviously have hoped to be 3 wins from three, but it's probably, yeah, it's unfortunate. But we've definitely shown a lot of good bits, and we'll have to be at our best, and we'll be hoping to obviously be at our best this weekend.
Yeah, what can you expect from a Joe Schmidt Australian side?
Yeah, we know Joe very well. They'll be well organized, of course. We all know that, and he's always comes up. I was always on our side of his trick plays, and yeah, the way he kind of sets up the team to beat the opposition. But I'm used to being on his side of it, so it'll be a bit different. I'm sure we'll be expecting a few good moves and trick plays. He was always very very good at that, and a well drilled side as well. So and then obviously, I think the individuals as well. They have a lot of really good players. So all throughout their team. So it'll be a big challenge.
Did Joe have an influence on your career?
Absolutely, yeah. Joe gave me my first Irish cap. He was when I came into Leinster in the academy. He was the head coach, so that was my first experience of like fully professional rugby was with Joe. And yeah, he helped me a huge amount. I think his emphasis on detail down to the finest details. He goes above and beyond in that way. And I suppose the attention to detail that he showed was something that I tried to develop into my game. And yeah, he obviously is a brilliant coach, and I learned a huge amount from him. And yeah, definitely has played a huge part in my career to date.
Josh, in the two games you've played, you've really played very, very well, and that level of consistency seems to be back. Anything you're doing differently? How would you explain your form? It seems to be right up there.
Yeah, feeling good. I think body feels good. That's the first thing. Feel fresh and good in that way. There's always, I suppose, different things we're all trying to work on, and I probably had a bit of a think over the off season. I talked to a few people and kind of how I could improve and things I could get better at, and yeah, trying to find what works best for me. I thought last year I probably found myself in areas of the game, particularly attacking wise, where I wasn't making the most of what I'm good at, I suppose. One thing would be, like, to give you an example, would be obviously trying to be in the pick and goes and the tight stuff. I'm obviously not as heavy as some of the other lads. Leave that to the Andrew Porters of this world, whereas I suppose a bit further out, spend a bit more time further out towards the back or being more the outside forward. I find myself probably most effective in that area. So that's something I've tried to work on as well, and I probably was a bit inefficient, I suppose. I've gone through some games being kind of inefficient, where obviously trying to work hard all throughout, but probably burning more energy than I need to, and then not having all the energy I need when the time's needed. So if that makes sense, a bit of a tongue twister there. But yeah, that's probably one of the things I found helpful. But it also helps playing with good players as well. I mean, even looking at, it's nice to get over the try line on the weekend, but it was all great work from Caelan, drawing the man and pass. Nice, really good from him, and I didn't do much. So having good players around you always helps.
So just a few bits to get around. Johnny.
Yeah, they've been. I think individually as players, they've some real big quality throughout their team. In every area of the game, they've shown a lot of really good strengths, and I think one thing we've particularly aware of, and obviously knowing Joe, like I mentioned, is the set piece plays, the kind of trick plays they play, um, and also how well they kind of manipulate the defense. They're very very good at that, and then in defense, then they're very strong. They've got some lads who can disrupt our ball pretty well, and some good individuals who'll make some big tackles as well. So it'll be expecting quite a physical game, and yeah, I'd say some good attacking play from them as well. They've been very very good the last few weeks, so be a challenge.
Josh, Paul mentions, we were chatting to Paul that Ireland did the simple things right. When you do that, that's when you're at your best. And that seemed to be part of the weekend.
Yeah.
How do you continue to do that and stop getting, I suppose, overcomplicated in some of the things you try to do?
Yeah, it's always a big challenge, I find, with rugby in general. It's kind of, you obviously at the highest level there's such fine margins, so you want to come up with good line out plays, good scrum plays, great backline moves. You have all these little small little areas you try and work on that capitalize on the way the rules are, or those kind of things. But I suppose when it comes down to it, if you do all those things and you're not physical, you know what I mean, you don't make your tackles and you don't make your passes, you won't do very well. You know what I mean? So it's I think at the highest level, it obviously does come down to small margins, but you have to do if you don't do the basics, the small margin, the rest of it's completely irrelevant. So I think that's where you have to start. If your basics are really, really good, you come across two teams where basics are really good, two top class teams, then it's the small things, I suppose, those added extras, the moves, whatever it is, the trick plays, the bits of individual skill. But I think it has to start with the very basic and the simple things. I think that's probably how I see it. Certainly you kind of prepare individually. The way I try and prepare anyway for a game is you obviously make sure you're on top of all the detail, all your knowledge is right around the opposition, what they're like and that kind of thing. And then when it gets to the game, you just need to keep it quite simple and think about making your tackles and making your carries, making good decisions, and try to keep it. Yeah, it has to be quite simplified, I suppose, by the time it comes to the game.
And then just finally for me, that if you were to take that New Zealand game, the performance you put in against Fiji, and you had to swap those two fixtures, New Zealand had been last weekend, do you think you were just kind of finding your feet again as a squad, as a team?
I actually thought for the Argentina game and the New Zealand game, we played a lot of good rugby. Obviously, New Zealand, the conditions were it was very slippy. It was obviously hard, both teams, hard to keep hold on to the ball. But I thought discipline was a big thing, just the number of penalties we gave away in New Zealand particularly. I think if we didn't do that, that's half the game. I think against Fiji, our discipline was, I don't know the exact numbers, but it was much better than it was the previous 2 weeks. So I think that alone makes a big difference, and you're probably looking at, if our discipline was good, I reckon we'd have a good chance of being 3 from 3. But that's probably something we focused on and was a lot better on the weekend there. I think obviously part of discipline, you're trying to push the boundaries. You're trying to. It's almost over eagerness rather than anything cynical, if you know what I mean. It was just lads really keen to impress and really keen to put their best foot forward, but probably went over the line a few times the previous few weeks. But we got it right on the weekend, which was good.